Nash. Today I'm here with
Vikram.
and we're here to film the final episode of Passion Talks. Vikram, how are you today?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. How are you today? I think a lot of people when they're asking, how are you, they're always expecting that you say, yeah, I'm doing fine. And it's just like polite speech. But I think it's an interesting question. I don't think answering I'm fine is an adequate answer. But how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for that. Anyway, we're here today to talk about our shared passion, and that is philosophy.
Yeah, I think philosophy is a really interesting thing. I'm not that well versed on it, but I think, analyzing the world through different frameworks has always been interesting. But I'm definitely excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, I've also been interested in philosophy since 9th grade. I've kind of always been interested in how it can guide my life and how various philosophies kind of take over in certain parts of my life just naturally, and then learning them later on and identifying which personalities are which philosophies. I felt like that's always interesting. But I also wanted to talk about how philosophy kind of guides our interests, specifically in that career-oriented direction. How does philosophy kind of influence what we want to do as a career?
Yeah, so I want to go into computer science, and I think a lot of people, they think computer science is vastly different from philosophy, because philosophy is much more abstract and there's not always a correct answer. Like philosophy is searching for that correct answer, but in computer science, in logic and math and science, there's often one correct answer. But I think there is a lot of overlap between philosophy and computer science, because at its core, they're both trying to search for an answer, right? And I think I incorporate different philosophies in computer science when I'm, working through problems, thinking about how, either how different philosophers would go about those problems versus, how different scientists would go about those problems. And I see a lot of overlap. And that's why I think our greatest scientists were also philosophers.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that sentiment. And as someone more interested in the business and economics field, I see that answer where philosophy asks questions that are difficult to answer. That's something that's very applicable to the economics field, because in economics, there's not always a very clear-cut answer. And that's where philosophy comes in, conservative and liberal. Neither is fully correct. And that's where philosophy is interesting. Who do we want to help? What are we helping? And is what we're doing effective? And to close out this piece, we wanted to kind of talk about how philosophy, generally, we use philosophy to improve our lives and improve the satisfaction.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to philosophy, you can either take a cynical approach or an optimistic approach, kind of view the world as everything is good or everything is bad, or somewhere down the middle. And I think, being cynical is good, but I try to view the world through a more optimistic lens, kind of assume that everything is going to turn out fine. But at the same time, I think it's important to be cynical as well, because, a lot of misinformation in media and things like that, it's important to question everything, question authority, and also question what's true and what's right.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I try to stay away from cynicism. I try to prescribe to this idea that whatever we're doing in life, regardless of the situation, whether painful or pleasureful, just enjoy it and take it for what it is. And that's kind of a perspective that's definitely been inspired by certain philosophies like existentialism or absurdism, and kind of just appreciating the value of life, whether it be suffering or enjoyment. Regardless, living is living, and I'm just happy to be alive. Thanks for coming today, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you.